Has anyone else in history reached the FA Cup final with an embarrassment? It's so weird.
Hello, everybody. It's Monday. And Pete's rubbing his pecs already.
I am. I've had a good weekend and I'm really excited for what the week will bring, including a big announcement.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, let's get down to it then, everybody. Pete is right. We have a humongous announcement to kick off the show today. The Football Ramble is returning to the stage!
Yes, we've seen out our lengthy prison sentences. We're allowed back on stage.
My goodness. On Friday, September the 20th, 2024, we're playing at the London Palladium, and you can join us. For one night only, we present Football Ramble Time Tunnel, a journey through the most outrageous and hilarious moments in football across the last 17 years of the Ramble. Expect all your Ramble favourites, loads of laughs, and plenty of surprises too. Tickets go on general sale this Friday, 26th of April. So you've got to act fast. You can find yours at footballramblelive.com. That's footballramblelive.com. But if you want to get ahead of the rush, we will be releasing pre-sale tickets exclusively for our Ramble Patreon subscribers on Wednesday and subscribers to our new mailing list, the Team Sheet, the day after on Thursday. Links to join both are in the show notes. You'll get the link for your tickets straight into your email inbox. So that's footballramblelive.com for general sale this Friday, pre-sale tickets through our mailing list on Thursday, or to be at the very front of the queue, pre-sale for our Patreon subscribers on Wednesday. We are so excited for this show. We hope you are too. It's going to be over 2,000 Ramble listeners, plus Pete Donaldson, all in one room. So join us for Football Ramble Time Tunnel on Friday, 20th of September, 2024 at the London Palladium, and get your tickets at footballramblelive.com as soon as you can. Trust us, it's going to be an incredible way to open the weekend.
Friday night at the Palladium.
Yes.
Come on.
Jim Campbell, are you going to be fully clothed, or will they have to find out on the night?
I suspect I will not be fully clothed.
A few more.
It's going to be like Magic Mike in the West End.
Yeah, we've got a lot of work to do on our bodies.
Not for me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to eat pills I find in boots.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we thought about, should we do this in May? No. No, it is going to be September
We're all going to be
this
tanned.
year.
Yeah, we're going to be tanned, we're going to be oiled, and we're going to be primed and ready to give you the best show of your goddamn lives. We have
Tragic Mike at the Palladium.
We have certain guarantees on the bar, Spence, so do come along. We need you in force and in numbers.
Indeed.
It's a Friday night.
Yeah,
it's going to be
exactly.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Let the lemonades flow.
And there will be a meat raffle too.
Well, of sorts, Jim, but that's where you and your clothes come in. So let's, gentlemen, continue the excitement, of course, and talk about our highlights of the weekend. My highlight of the weekend was when the Coventry goal was disallowed because I just love justice. And justice was done.
Marcus.
And without justice, where are we, quite frankly?
Marcus,
in modern democracy.
The red and the blue line was so close together, it was fucking purple. That's how close it was.
Hey,
And you're a disgrace.
Anyway, let's go there now. Coventry City 3, Manchester United 3.
Cov, man. Like they just Coventry. You remember that bloke, that old boy who had like a bit of a career and then just absolutely like his whole world was blown up by Wales's
Richard Keys?
by things he'd said on a hot mic. No, that bloke who sings, I forget his name, but he sings "We're Still Here," the Wales anthem.
You know
that he's like a folk
I don't
singer.
know who
He's
this
a
is.
folk singer who's been around since the 70s.
Okay.
Been
Tom
kicked
Jones?
around, and he'll just like and he's basically the poster boy for Wales's recent success in football. And he may as well be singing about Coventry because no matter what happens to them, they're always there or thereabouts, just achieving little victories here and there. And this is a little victory, I think, for them. I thought they were blooming brilliant.
It's a moral victory.
It is it's an immoral victory.
Well, for Manchester United.
For Manchester United.
I mean, it's just like I can't stress enough, right, everybody, because obviously, Manchester United go through 4-2 on penalties after being 3-0 up, and Coventry peg them back 3-3. I cannot stress enough how important it is for all of us neutrals that Erik ten Hag keeps that job. All right? We've all got to support Manchester United in the final, because if they win the cup, there's more chance of him staying. It's got to happen, Jim. We can't let this.
Surely.
Manchester United this season have been so entertaining.
They have.
We've loved them, and again, what's good for the Ramble is not good for your club usually. But my goodness, you cannot take your eyes off them.
Has anyone else in history reached the FA Cup final with an embarrassment? It's so weird.
I mean, the only thing that leapt to mind that was like mildly similar was when Arsenal beat Wigan on penalties in the semi-final, when Arsenal were obviously heavy favourites.
Kim Kallstrom scored in the
Did he?
in the shootout.
Nice to know
fans.
He made a contribution.
Signed with a broken back. Still made a contribution.
But
I loved her in Sex and the City.
And Arsenal again playing a side who they
should put away fairly easily.
They
weren't 3-0 up.
But the comparisons quickly stop.
You're being 4-0 up, mate.
But again, in that Arsenal example, it's a case of, oh my god, we nearly got embarrassed. Whereas Manchester United did get embarrassed.
It's quite a gift, really, isn't it?
In the first half, I was thinking like, it's good to have seen Man United find a level they're comfortable at, and then they can't even see that through.
That's what I mean. Like, there's how many 3-alls have they been in, or high-scoring draws, and they are absolutely brilliant to watch.
They really are. They really are.
Racing into a 3-0 lead, of course, after 58 minutes. And
they looked so comfortable. It wasn't like they were sort of peppering Coventry with shots in the first half, was it? I think the goals were the only shots on target, I believe. But they looked really, really comfortable. There was no sense that this was going to happen from that first period.
And it was done. Like, when the third goal goes in, bearing in mind there's only over half an hour to go, the commentator says, well, Manchester United will be on their way back to Wembley for the final, which, of course, he was right.
Didn't their social media team say something before the match had even kicked off? Like, they said that Manchester City will be joining Manchester United in the final.
I mean, again, they were right. Annoyingly,
they were right.
Have they not learned, though, from Barcelona against Munich? Manchester United against Munich in Barcelona against Bayern. When it was name on the trophy, and the Bayern fans will say, you got to learn.
You do
from past other people's mistakes, but they didn't. And because when Coventry made it 3-1, it was surprising. Was it surprising? It was noticeable how that galvanised everybody in Coventry. Like, it really was galvanised, because I think they'll be aware of how dodgy Manchester United are. You get 3-1, you've still got 20 minutes or whatever it is to play. They really suddenly were like, right, no, we can do this.
Yeah.
We can bloody well do this. Because if that's against Manchester City, for example, and they get 3-1, they'll think, well, we scored, it's consolation.
Yeah, definitely. But I think as we've seen with Man United, you sort of know you're going to get chances against them. In that first half, they're thinking, oh, they're all going to come in the second half, because there's no way they're not happening.
Yeah,
it wasn't like limping to get to score that goal as well for the draw.
I mean, I guess they got a little bit lucky with the deflection on the second one, but you've got to be having the shots in the first place, right? And it's just there is this mad sense that United are never quite secure at the moment.
Well, Bruno Fernandes, I mean, his was deflected as well. I mean, obviously, he was
he hit the bar, didn't he? That could have been.
But I mean, when Wright steps up to take that penalty, the absolute stones you got to do, because if you miss that penalty, you've got them a bit more infamy. I don't think the fans would think of it like that, but there's so much on the line. But of course, you've got a shot at glory, haven't you? And he puts it away, and just absolute pandemonium. And then they have chances in extra time. It's not like it wasn't just a case of VAR.
The Ellis Sims one where he hits the bar, that's the one where he's done everything right there.
Yeah.
He just
it was just
gutting.
Suddenly it's just all up for grabs. It does not matter that one side have spent considerably more on their team. It's one of those glorious. It's a huge FA Cup tie at Wembley. The sun is creeping through, and it's all like it's like a school match or something.
It's a momentum thing, isn't it? Yeah. Much like a school match, as you say. It's like the wind was in Coventry's sails. They seem to have more energy, and I think there was a sense, and you often get this when there's a mismatch like this, that you know that the bigger team are always going to win on penalties. It seems to play out so often.
I know what you mean.
Particularly with a team from another division. So I think that there was probably a sense that, look, we're making chances here. We have to capitalise on this and score now. And they came so close. The offside was gutting. So gutting.
I think that's one of the most, from a neutral, universal point of view.
Situation, time. The speed in which it was done.
The celebrations that we were robbed of.
The speed in which the VAR was actually decided as well.
Yeah.
Was interesting.
But that is one of the most gutting things I think I've ever seen in football.
So when I saw the replay of it, I thought, oh yeah, he's miles off. But then when you see the lines on the actual point where the ball is played, it's so tight. If I'm completely honest, I can't see that is offside from that still.
Right.
I mean, the thing, obviously, with
we need smaller lines. We need higher resolution lines, guys.
We need more accurate lines. The thing is with VAR, Mark Robins said after the game, I mean, he's a toenail offside, but it is what it is, which I thought actually was fair comment from him because, it's done, and he is like, it is what it is. I mean, the thing is with offsides, I don't want to get into VAR too much here, but I think when VAR was introduced and the offsides were being given, I was like, well, that's just ridiculous. Because normally it was like, oh, is there daylight, space between the two?
Well, clubs wanted it, don't they? They all voted for it to stay that way fairly recently.
But whatever you decide, there's going to be a line.
Yeah. Well, Lee Dixon said, just give him the benefit of the doubt.
Lee, unhelpful.
He hates football.
Yeah, that's why he'd never be a traffic cop.
No.
But it's wherever you're moaning about where the line is, there will always be. There has to be a line.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
look, just gutting though.
I want
quantum offsides.
Exactly.
It can be offside and also offside.
I'll be honest with you, Peter. I want corrupt officiating in moments like that. Just go with the general. Come on, do this for the wider public.
Vibe. There should be a vibe man in the VAR tactics.
What's the vibe? Yeah, exactly. I think you've got to give it.
Yeah, it's all razzle dazzle at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh man,
that's it. You need, if you can quantify that there is both razzle and dazzle.
Yeah. If the
vibe man can conclusively demonstrate.
If there's a part of the body that could produce razzle is in play, you're allowed to play on.
And then it goes to penalties, and of course the psychology of that. Yeah, you thought you'd won it, and then you have to go and do it again. But then Casemiro thinks, do you know what, lads? I'll throw you a little bone here. Bob does it almost like a Bernardo Silva.
There was still a sense to me that Man United would end up winning it.
I know what you mean.
Because it's just that experience and the quality of the penalty takers that they've got.
Yeah.
And
Eriksen looks so old now. What's happened?
But also, his penalty was so authoritative, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was kind of like, I'm a grown-up, I'm better than this level, I'm going to put it away.
This isn't actually that hard when you're as good at this as I am. It was just absolutely gutting. For a moment, I thought Mark Robins might get a Man United manager sacked as well as saved one, which would have been quite the CV. Wouldn't
Jamie
it?
Carragher certainly thinks he will be sacked after that.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite damning, isn't it? Even though they managed to get through.
But why would you do it? What are you going to do? What different situation are you going to get out of these players? They just need to get rid of. There's no hierarchy there on the field. There's just no sense that anyone knows what they're doing. Yeah. No senior players worth looking up to. It's a real state there, and I mean, pushing McTominay up to do all of your attacking is just. I mean that's just insane. But maybe Erik ten Hag just feels like it's his only option.
Peter, it's brilliant, is what it is. Like, I can't stress enough how I'm enjoying Man United at the moment.
Yeah.
Ten Hag did say after the game, it's not an embarrassment.
It's not an embarrassment. I'm not shut my cakes.
I don't see that word. It's a huge achievement.
Yeah.
I mean, again, on paper,
he's not wrong, is he? But still,
well, I mean, he's a bit wrong, isn't he? A decade ago,
I wish there was a breathalyzer for lies.
a big Manchester United team a decade ago only achieved the final 3 times. We do it twice in 2 years. In among all this,
it's a golden age, isn't it?
It truly is. I mean, Manchester City will be concerned. But in among all this, when Højlund scores the winning penalty, he rightly goes over and celebrates with his family. Absolutely no problem with that. I think it was only Eriksen actually who joined him in the celebration. The rest of the Manchester United team turned to the Coventry City players and were like, sorry about that. We are happy we're through, but we wouldn't have begrudged it if you went through. Also, though, in among all that, Anthony cupped his ears in the direction of the Coventry players when Højlund scored the winning penalty.
It's solid work, isn't it?
It takes some doing to be a bigger pillock than Mark Clattenburg this weekend. But he's streaks ahead there.
He's so
it says so much about his character, doesn't it?
It's just came on
abysmal.
I think he came on when it was 3-0 or 3-1. Such a dick.
They don't call him something like finishers, and he finished that match.
He did finish that match eventually.
I mean, like, bearing in mind, he must feel so secure though because he was Ten Hag signing.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a bit of that mixed into that.
Maybe, he's the king's son, but the kingdom is crumbling.
Yeah.
Well, Harry Maguire said we showed great character to stick with it. Stick with what?
Stick with it. Stick with it. Or are you going to leave the field because you're bored? You may as well have done.
I mean, Harry, like another couple of minutes, you'd have lost the game 4-3.
Yeah. Harry Maguire attempted a lovely kind of outside. I think it was outside of the foot, kind of chip over the keeper sort of thing. I mean, he got nowhere near it. I presume that's what he was trying to do.
Hey, he scored a lovely goal though, Peter.
He did score a lovely goal.
Yeah, so get off his back.
Get off his back, his large back.
Yeah. Nice to see Sir Jim Ratcliffe at Wembley though at the start of the second half, having just completed the London Marathon, no less.
I wonder what was more tiring, the marathon or the game?
Yeah, true. Well, he was sat next to Avram Glazer, that skeleted fiend, of course.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a skullet. It's more like a tuft at the back. You know, like what's the fin that you put at the back of a car? Is that spoiler? No,
a spoiler.
Is it a spoiler? Yeah,
that is a spoiler.
So it's a head spoiler, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know if it spoils it. I think it makes it.
I mean, that match was a head spoiler, wasn't it? A lot of Man United fans.
What's really that you got there? Keep my whatever you do. Keep my spoiler. Can you? I need my spoiler.
Keep my
trimmed.
spoiler. Keep my head spoiler.
Does that mean he could do like headers really quick? It helps him being a bit more dynamic. I don't know.
There was a quite enjoyable thing that kept happening in the commentary, where Sam Matterface will sometimes come up with a line and he'll be so pleased with himself he keeps using it.
Right.
He kept saying Victor Torp with a torpedo. It's like that sounds like it's a pun on two different things there, Sam. One of which sounds really actionable.
Yeah. Yes.
One you could use on Andre Flo, presumably.
Yeah.
Torpedo.
I see.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
We'd like to state for the record that Torre Andre Flo is not a paedophile.
To our knowledge. Oh dear. He could have said, Wembley should be now named Torp Park.
He could have said that, yeah.
Thorpe Park.
But he didn't think of it.
Torp Park.
Yeah, I've just
Park Ji-sung.
Yeah. Well, you weren't there.
I'm confused. I'm lost.
Yeah, well, this is what Matterface might do to you.
I'm in a maze. I'm in a Matterface maze.
He twists us up and spits us out. Mark Robbins, I thought, was quite remarkably calm throughout the whole thing. At times. I mean, maybe he wasn't at other times, but like when
he's got bigger stuff to worry about.
Yeah. He's
the whole time he's just thinking, be nice to the ball, boys. Be nice to the ball.
Well, when Man United scored the third, he sort of turned round and he gave like the little hoardings next to the dugout just a little tap on the top. He said, don't tap it all.
Yeah.
And then when Coventry scored, you see him, he's sort of still fairly calm. And then after the match, again, his comments were fairly level-headed. He said, we just said to the players that they've put themselves right up there in the history of the football club. People will talk about this game for a long time, and he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, he scored for Sir Alex Ferguson, didn't he?
He did score for Manchester United, famously.
Yeah, famously.
Kept him in the job.
Yeah, so
that's the story.
Maybe he feels like he's...
So from that moment, he felt my work here is done, and the rest of his life is just a bonus. Not a bonus as in... you're on easy street kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that's it.
It does feel to me like the final is going to be Man United sort of being called into the headmaster's office to explain all this. I don't think City are going to be too worried about it.
Big punishment is coming their way. Yeah. Well, Manchester City obviously beat Chelsea 1-0. And again, Chelsea will rue missed chances at Wembley. I mean, this on another weekend, it seems mad to say this, but on another weekend, it could have been Chelsea-Coventry in the final.
Honestly, I do think that if Pochettino sticks around, he could get this right. They've got so many good young players, and they made so many chances. They missed so many. Like they put themselves in a position where they could have really laid a glove on Man City, and the goal was scored really, really late in the game. It was a real shame, but they just don't like Wembley, do they?
Not at the moment. They used to love it.
No,
but it's true. They've now failed to score in 5 of their last 6 trips to Wembley.
They've not lost a game, certainly in the Premier League, since the 4th of February. So that they are sort of slowly turning things around. They've had a few sort of silly draws that you would have expected them to win, but I think Pete's right. I think Chelsea fans are looking at that performance. Obviously, they're going to be disappointed to go out, but they were good. They gave a good account of themselves. And if Nicholas Jackson in particular hadn't been so profligate, it might have been a very, very different story. And I think that there's a lot of those players there. We've all been talking about like how mad it is to sign that many players at once, but there are quite a few of them are starting to stand out as players that you think might be something for the future there.
Well, do you remember when Jackson said, what was it, I think a couple of months ago, that he watches back videos of his missed chances?
Yes.
Stop doing that.
Sort of negative reinforcement for bed.
I think he said, I like to see what I could do better and so on. I think he needs a new tactic.
Watch the goals.
Yeah.
I mean, because like there's a player in there, and I mean his pace is incredible. Dare I suggest he outpaced Kyle Walker at one moment? Or certainly kept up. Like the guy's got the attributes and something to be there. It's just
I think there's definitely a very good player in there. I don't know if he's going to be prolific for them, but I think he might be sort of an effective player, certainly.
Yeah, but I mean they need to score and help out Cole Palmer in that department, because as you say, like they played well. They really took the game to Manchester City, and they will be gutted. I mean, they should have won the League Cup final.
Yeah.
We should be here saying, Chelsea have won one trophy and they're in the FA Cup final against whoever, Manchester United, against the side that they can get at, which, it's all ifs and buts, of course, but it would have been a very good season. So I know what you mean, Pete, when you think there are some green shoots here with Pochettino in charge. Mind you, having said all that, I felt they should have had a penalty.
Yeah.
With Jack Grealish's handball when Cole Palmer hits that free. I was very surprised that wasn't even... Well, the VAR looks at everything, we should say.
Yeah, because it was given as a goal kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it
makes no sense.
Well, it's either... so the referee can then argue, or presumably the referee thinks, it didn't hit anybody. It's one of those, Jim, annoyingly. But yeah, I thought it was a penalty. It wasn't given, though. And then at full time, though, the aforementioned Jack Grealish was seen having a joke and a laugh. Not that I think Manchester City players were bothered or fans were bothered by that, but Chelsea fans seemed to be bothered that Noni Madueke was involved as well, while Thiago Silva was crying. It was like this beautiful.
It was an unnecessary, I think, looking at what one man's doing, crying, and then behind somebody who's titting about. But it's just like,
they were probably mates before.
Well, yeah, I mean they are. I mean, if they weren't, I don't care. I just don't care.
And he should have punched Grealish. We're not mates at the moment.
Any normal football supporter should not give a flying fuck what people do once the whistle's gone. I find this very tiresome and destructive. I don't like it at all.
Also, I think I could be.
If Lee Clark wants to wear that t-shirt, he can.
I could be in the vets. Having to put my dog down.
Yeah.
And if Jack Grealish was in there, I'd smile when I was talking to him. I
Yeah,
couldn't help myself.
Exactly.
It's Jack Grealish.
He'd be getting his worming tablets, wouldn't he? He's as daft as a dog.
Yeah. What if Jack Grealish booted your dog and went, there you go, I'll put it out his misery?
Yeah.
Would you be smiling then, Jim?
We've got this new technique. It's actually quicker and more humane than the lethal injection. It's Jack Grealish's massive cars. It's just going to absolutely stomp on your dog's head. But we will light a little candle in reception for it.
Again, though, Jack Grealish does not stamp on dogs' heads.
Right, yeah. Hashtag parody.
Now, Pep Guardiola wasn't happy, was he? He went after the football authorities after the match finished. When he spoke to the BBC, he said Manchester City shouldn't have to be playing that game less than 72 hours after facing Real Madrid on Wednesday night. It is unacceptable to let us play today. It is impossible for the health of the players. It is not normal. I think he has a reasonable point.
In this round of fixtures in particular. I mean, I'm not sure what the reason for it was. Is it like Wembley scheduling or something like that? Or probably a TV thing, I don't know. But yeah, it surely makes sense to give the players as much of a rest as possible where possible.
Just look forward to Pep Guardiola, when he's there next season, opting out of whatever crazy tour they're doing at the start of the season. Yeah. I think they're doing the USA, did Hong Kong and Japan last year, the World Club Cup, the precursor to the 2025 World Cup, and also the Champions League, the extended Champions League. So you could opt out of all these things, couldn't you, Pebbles?
Yeah, but at least you've not got your replays in the early rounds of the FA Cup. Little
Papa Pebbles. Well, it was a real fucking circle jerk for me. It was Gary Lineker, Mika, and Alan Shearer. And as soon as Pep Guardiola used Gary's first name, Gary was on the giggle bus. He was just starting to giggle. He's going to use my name. And Alan Shearer quite rightly said, just rotate. You've got more resources than anybody else in the football pyramid. Just rotate.
Well, sure, but
he's talking about the health of players, though, isn't he? And that you're not going to rotate an entire team.
Why not?
Wait,
they're the one team that can do it.
Well, okay, Peter. Let's in years to come when Newcastle are in this position, we'll just we'll keep an eye on that.
Please do.
Pete Dungy's integrity tracker.
Yeah, that odometer has been spun back so many times, Jim.
What, there's a lot of squiggly lines on that. None of that straight VAR offside business there.
Checking my record, I said a wind back.
All right, everybody, coming up in the second half, we've got the controversy at Goodison Park. We've got an incredible Crystal Palace performance and Joe Hart, the hero. See you in a moment.
Involved in a few of the penalty shouts, I think 3 of the 4. How many of them do you think were right and were wrong?
All of them were right.
Even the last one. I mean, look, most are saying that the one on Callum Hudson-Odoi, you're sure that you got a touch on the ball, that was the right decision?
None of them were given, were they?
But come on, what's that face saying?
It's saying none of them were given.
Outrageous.
He delivers that with his tight-lipped kind of smile, he's trying to keep bird poo in his mouth. It's so good the way he just sort of goes, well, I didn't see any referee intervention on that one.
That was obviously Ashley Young there after the Forest game. Thanks to friend of the Ramble, Ashley, I assume.
Probably Ashley Young.
Yeah, I assume so, for sending us that clip. You can become a friend of the Ramble too by heading over to patreon.com/football ramble. You'll get access to the Discord where you can chat with us and other Ramble listeners. You'll get ad-free episodes of the Ramble up front and on the Continent Plus. You'll get early access to those live show tickets, of course. So get involved.
It's going to be like Taylor Swift. These tickets are going to be like hen's teeth.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
And in the way that our listeners are going to be really horrible to you online.
Gentlemen, before we go to that match at Goodison Park, quick trip north of the border to keep a little tab on Joe Hart.
How's he getting in before the Forest match? Outrageous.
I just wanted to say that the former England number 1 was nearly the villain, but became the hero for Celtic in the penalty competition, against Aberdeen in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup.
Another 3-3.
Another amazing 3-3.
Yeah. I hate it when footballers take penalties and they screw it. They screw it against the post. Like they just
he took it like a goal kick.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it was nearly a beauty.
It was nearly a beauty,
but you don't want nearly.
It was a miss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he had the chance to win the shootout with the 5th spot kick. Now, he has taken a penalty in a shootout before.
Big time, that.
It is Cristiano Ronaldo-esque.
Yeah. How has brother Brandy let him do that?
Oh, we know. Because Joe Hart showed him, look what I did before. I think it was for the England under-21s.
Right.
In the Euro under-21s semi-final.
Lot of road between that and this.
A lot of road, yeah. He may well have taken one since then, although I'm not sure. Maybe he has. He's obviously very confident. And he hit it.
I'm just astonished at you sort of rifling through the folders of your brain for Joe Hart penalties.
Yeah, well, I mean, there can't be that many to pick out.
From an under-21 tournament.
Yeah,
presumably 20 years ago. It's good stuff.
2009, if my memory serves me correctly.
Feels like 20 years ago.
Good Lord.
Was it earlier? Who knows?
Monster.
The internet knows. But yeah,
You're a monster.
So he fails to score. Aberdeen are back in it. So Joe thinks, I better save this one, and he did. Although he did again, it was classic Joe Hart because he saves that penalty to go through, and he's a bit like, all right, sorry.
Hey, look, I've fallen short of the standards.
Exactly.
I set myself.
I shouldn't have had to have done that. So there we are. It's a great shame though that Aberdeen are not going to be in the final because Neil Warnock did say that he'd go and watch them in the final.
Yeah. Would he have got a medal for his part in it?
Maybe
you would, yeah.
But he won't now.
Don't know what the rules are.
It'd been brilliant, wouldn't it, if he'd come onto the pitch and lifted the cup?
It would have genuinely been up there. Salt Bay-esque.
Marcus gets a medal for knowing so much about Joe Hart's under-21s.
Have you just checked that, by the way?
No.
Oh, I thought you were okay.
No, I was trying to remember /Google what song Brian Wilson was obsessed with in the same way that you're obsessed with England. He was obsessed with the Ronettes' Be My Baby, and it destroyed his mind. And he's just he spent most of his career just trying to make music as good as the Ronettes' Be My Baby, because he thinks it's the best song in the world. It's an illness, and I think you perpetrate the same, you exhibit the same kind of guff as that.
I call it fever.
It's England fever, baby.
Oh dear. Celtic will play Rangers in the Scottish Cup final. Who would have thought?
Wow.
Who would have thought?
Wow.
Right, back to the Premier League, everybody. Everton 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Big win for Sean Dyche's men.
Yeah. Look at that. Everton 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
Nothing more to add.
Exactly. It just looks like such a kind of routine. One team beat the other one 2-0. But there's so many stories that come out of this.
I watched the game. It was really boring. I'm sort of quite grateful to Forest for stepping up and providing the entertainment post-match.
Yeah.
Well, indeed, yeah. 5 minutes after the full-time whistle, Nottingham Forest released the following statement. 3 extremely poor decisions, 3 penalties not given, which we simply cannot accept. Well, you're going to have to. We warned the Pugmol that the VAR is a Luton fan before the game and they didn't change him. Our patience has been tested multiple times. NFFC will now consider its options.
Yeah, I mean...
You've not got any options.
That's Marinakis, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
I'm not deadly serious.
With a
like,
ghost
surely
writer.
It's a forwarded text. Just get this up. Get this up right now.
5 minutes
and
after
I'll pay
the
the
final
fine.
whistle. And the funny thing is, though, that all this chat about the VAR being a Luton fan, it's been now reported that Mark Clattenburg spoke to Pugmore before the game, and it was raised that he was a Luton fan, and it was just like, that's not important. Don't worry about it. And even Nuno, Espirito Santo, said after the game, he went, that's just not important.
Yeah, and Mark Clattenburg, had an article out in the Daily Mail yesterday after the game, sort of like really going in hard on all this stuff. Like that, he's a prat. Like he really is. He's such a dickhead.
What makes you think that?
Everything about him. But he has really stepped up into the sort of main character. Look at me, vacuum left by Mike Dean, isn't he? And,
but he's not even a ref. He's not even on the
exactly.
pitch.
It makes it all the more ridiculous.
I
Really,
still like him.
So someone somewhere is lying because
He's not. The VAR is not a Luton fan. He's a Ramble fan because we've had a lovely time.
Oh
here.
yeah, again, yeah.
And everyone's been sort of saying this euphemistic kind of Forest admin, this kind of like dark force.
Yeah, they love it. Don't
Forest admin.
But
He's a Forest admin in the same way Jair Bolsonaro is the Forest admin. He just burns it down.
Yeah,
burn it down.
He blamed that on Leonardo DiCaprio, didn't he? Bolsonaro.
Did,
remember that?
I mean,
said Leonardo DiCaprio was paying people to burn down sections of the Amazon.
Yeah,
was he really?
No,
where's my money? I'd do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we regrettably. We've got this post-truth world, and it seems to be in the Premier League as well.
Yeah,
that's
do you know
true.
What I mean? It's getting worse and worse.
But if you went like 20 years ago and you heard the sentence, "We won that Pugmol, that the VAR is a Luton fan," it's like, what is happening here?
The word warn comes up a few times because in the Daily Mail article that Clattenburg wrote, he said, you will have seen the statement released by the club, how the PGMOL were contacted to warn that it was not appropriate for a Luton fan such as Atwell to play such a pivotal role in a massive match that would impact the relegation race. It's like you don't dictate to them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's an astonishing position.
You're on St George's Park.
Yeah. Gordon Bennett. The only option you have is to just file a complaint. Mm-hmm. That's the only option you have. You can complain.
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. No one would sort of question that. But this idea of, well, we're going to find out the truth and our options. It's like the game's not going to be replayed.
Yeah.
It's just it is.
Firstly, the result doesn't necessarily benefit Luton.
Well, that's what a lot of people. A draw would have been a better.
A weird one there. But also, surely we have to put our faith in these people to be able to be objective. If you kind of put it into law that such and such is a fan of X club, so can't officiate on Y club, it suggests that they're crooked.
Well, Jim, I'm not.
You can't codify that.
I personally won't be happy until Donald Trump, Boris Johnson and Liz Truss are refereeing in the Premier League.
I would very much like them to slap a £10 million fine, which takes them over FFP. I think that would be delicious.
And we're gonna decide how many points you get deducted 5 minutes after the final whistle on the final day. But we must talk about the game because...
No, I want to talk about Nuno Espirito Santo stood outside having a tab.
Yeah, well...
Stood outside Goodison Park having a cigarette, looking like Ben Affleck with his cups of coffee.
I missed that. Was he?
He's just having a... He looks absolutely destroyed. It's having a cigarette in his full kit. Just put that on a T4. I love it. I absolutely love that.
Oh, I mean,
that could galvanise. That's the sort of image would galvanise the players.
I mean, it is glorious.
It's just him having a craft. It's not even crafty. I'm just going, I don't care who sees me.
Yeah.
I'm so rinsed.
Apparently that photo was taken 8 hours after the game. The next morning.
Marcus just showed it to me. It looks like he's just done something really bad in a lockup. that no one knows he owns.
I can't believe I've just done that.
Yeah, I am going to have to
horrific.
move away from my family. No one will see me again, but I suppose I'm financially secure. The game itself, I understand why Forest were furious, by the way. And if there are any Forest fans who are listening, or anybody listening who are kind of annoyed at what we're saying, we can have the opinion that their response is wrong and idiotic, and also have the opinion of, but they were right to aggrieved by some of those decisions.
Yeah, and Forest have been on the end of some really bad decisions this season as well. I completely understand that.
But they used to be the good guy, didn't they? They used to be the good guys.
Who are the good guys?
Pugmall, isn't it?
I thought it was us.
That's why. Well, it's us, and that's why we're going to be staging a mock execution of Pugmall at the live show. I'm creating the a hangman's noose as we speak.
Okay, and we Mark Clattenburg isn't replying to our calls.
No, he won't get involved.
Indeed, yeah. But there were 3 penalty appeals, Jim.
Yeah, I think the third one is absolutely stonewall.
Third one in particular.
The third one was ridiculous, and I think actually that's probably where this has come from, because the other two. Like the first one is definitely in the sort of seen them given category.
Yeah, first one is I can definitely.
I understand why they're aggrieved with that for sure.
Yep.
I think Everton will feel a bit lucky to get away with it. It's one where it is on that line where it's almost down to the taste of the referees in that sort of thing, isn't it? The second one at first I thought, that is a handball, but I do understand people saying it's so close to his body that there's not really much else he can do, but Everton do gain an advantage from it hitting his hand, which I know isn't necessarily in the rules, but is in the sort of, the moral interpretation of whether something or not is a penalty, I suppose. But
yeah, I mean, you mentioned the Jack Grealish one earlier for Manchester City. I mean, maybe the argument was he actually tries to bring his hand in towards his body, but in doing that, that's where he actually touches the ball. So
he's squeezing the accordion.
Indeed he is, but only he would know. I mean, or in fact, maybe he wouldn't know. But anyway, we've talked about that. So we're all agreed. I think everyone would be agreed. There's at least one, and by the law of averages, probably 2 penalties in there. You would think, but they should have been given something. I mean, that third one is a shocker.
If this game had ended 3-2 because Forest had 3 penalties, we'd be talking about how rare it is that teams get 3 penalties.
Yeah, but I mean,
we
would. I mean, the rarity of it, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty, and if it's 6 penalties, then they should be given.
No, but what I'm saying is, I don't think we'd be going, it's outrageous that one was given and that one was given.
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but with the third one, we've had 1 or 2 decisions like this over this season. That third one in particular, that I just want to drill down on. It's like, how on earth has somebody watched that and thought, no, that's not a penalty? Is there an angle that we haven't seen?
Yeah.
Because like that, I just find baffling. But
all of the hoo-ha and the nonsense kind of takes away from the people actually should be looking at the actual decision itself. But they've been so silly on Twitter.
It's tedious, isn't it? The whole is something a penalty or isn't it a penalty? To the point where I'm like, should we just get rid of them altogether?
Yeah,
just only have them in shootouts. But I wonder if people in the VAR room get like that as well. You get a bit like decision blind, and it's like something that's really obvious like that suddenly doesn't look like a penalty for some reason.
There should be like air traffic controllers swap every 20 minutes. Or
they lose kind of spatial awareness. Like,
I mean, maybe. I mean,
they're instrument flying.
They are human beings, for crying out loud.
They are human beings.
So just Clattenburg, we've seen his little lizard tongue.
I'm talking about the VAR.
Oh, I see,
chaps. Now, Nuno did say after the game that if we were in another country, we will start talking about conspiracy. Well, thank goodness we're not going to talk about. Thank goodness we're in this country where we do things right.
I'm not usually one who gives the English Premier League props, but I mean, we don't have owners waving guns around on the touchline. Do you know what I mean?
And more the pity, quite frankly.
It is the best league in the world because the referees are treated with a little bit of respect.
Well, do you know what? Actually, there have many people have said that one of the reasons why there is so much betting on the Premier League is obviously it's the general interest in the league, but it is seen as a clean league.
Yes,
there are other leagues, as we've known in the past, like Serie A, for example, which is a huge league, where it's been demonstrably proved and investigated that there were things going on, of course.
Right, yeah.
So, like, it is seen as that. And so I think, as I say, like, when all's said and done, unfortunately, human error can pop in, even if it's bleeding obvious.
Maybe we should put Juventus in the league for a season. Just so we all appreciate what we've got.
Yeah. I think they'd be really up for that.
They've got 12 players on. No, we don't.
Juve would be like, we'll only join if you rename it the Super League, and we get the win, we get the moral victory. Yeah. So but in terms of the actual football played and so on, a couple of nice goals. Proper daisy cutter from Gay to score, and then and McNeil doing what he does every now and then. So a crucial win for Everton, of course, and down the bottom it is looking very, very tight. Yes, and of course there were big wins for Brentford and for Burnley. I mean, surprising that Luton were hammered like that, I suppose.
Yeah. It was a bit of a shame, really, because I obviously had us as the prediction for the weekend. I thought they were going to do it at home, but these things happen.
It just felt like the roof collapsed, didn't it? They've been working really, really hard this season.
That's why they got a new stadium on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you take the points deductions out of the league, the bottom three would be adrift now.
But Forest would still be in there.
They would, but the bottom three start to look a bit more adrift, and it starts to look a bit harder. And it's a truer reflection of the distance they have to make up. And I think maybe just a long season in which they've had to sort of battle and fight for every ball just caught up with Luton here.
True. I mean, I tell you, Burnley though, obviously hammered Sheffield United, who, I mean, it would be the greatest of all the great escapes if they manage to get out, which they won't. But Burnley have given themselves a fighting chance. To their credit, in their last 6 games, they've only lost once. So I still think they'll go. But
you sort of
there
hope
is something there is something to play for there.
Yeah, you sort of hope with Luton though that like they were battered, but I mean it's 2 very direct sides. I hope Luton don't kind of poop their pants a little bit and sort of go, right, let's be a little bit more defensive, a little bit cleverer at things. I love watching Luton. And the only way they're going to get out is by playing that direct style, I think.
Yeah.
When all said and done, they've lost 4 in the last 5, which is worse than Sheffield United.
All right, I'll change what I just said.
No, but if you enjoy watching them, that's it. But I mean, the 5th goal scored by Brentford, it was a proper fuck off back down at the Championship. Do you know what I mean? Like, it really was like such a damning. It was almost as if it was the 10th and a 10-0 win against a sort of a San Marino or something like that. So they've got to pick themselves up.
Well, they've got Wolves next, and Wolves have so many injuries that they named a 15-year-old on the bench on Saturday. So
right.
Blimey.
They'll have to target 3 points there.
Indeed they will. Gentlemen, I'd like to end the Premier League chat with Crystal Palace 5, West Ham United 2. I love it. I love it when a team who doesn't score that many goals just suddenly goes, you know what, today we're going to give our fans a treat. I remember the last year in the first half of the season when Fulham battered Forest 5-0 and then they were like, let's do this again, beat West Ham 5-0. Yeah. And suddenly you think, this is what we do. Yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to tire Palace out because I've got a ticket for Palace Newcastle on Wednesday. So I'm just,
okay.
I'm hoping I'll be able to see them win.
Yeah, no, I'm sure the neutral will definitely be supporting Newcastle in that game. But yeah, a great win for Palace. They absolutely destroyed West Ham. 3-0 up inside 20 minutes.
Eze had so much time to do his bicycle kick.
That bicycle kick.
When Thomas Brolin did that bicycle kick on the advert, he had that amount of time. Not marked at all.
What a lovely callback or reference, rather.
It's the only ones I've got. 90s.
Right, I appreciate it. I mean, really, obviously, all joking aside, my highlight of the weekend was like that Eze bicycle kick. It was...
Didn't need to do it.
It's like he was an Avenger or something.
He's magic.
Just like...
he's such a joy to watch.
He's brilliant. His overall performance was magnificent. But
getting on that plane.
But you're right, Peter. Like the way you think, is he going to sort of jump and leap ahead? It's just like pow.
Get him on that plane because he looked like a propeller at that moment.
Yeah.
There was also speaking of 90s references, the film American Beauty. There was an errant carrier bag sort of floating around the pitch in the opening couple of goals.
And that was just so beautiful.
This is so beautiful. Just not watching it.
It was just symbolic of the beautiful performance of.
But they did waft a lot of goals into the West Ham net.
They
did.
But when Elise's header was very brave. The first one,
very brave.
Set the tone. I think.
Yeah,
they really. They outfought West Ham there. And
I mean, West Ham obviously would have played late in the week. And it was a hell of a...
That caught up with them for sure.
Yeah.
They just looked off the pace, really, didn't they? Palace just looked quicker to everything, faster.
They've got a lot of footballers in their squad where things catch up to them, aren't they? Because their age.
Yeah, you say that. I don't think it's that much of an excuse, and neither did David Moyes. Today was so bad, I can hardly put it into words. I'm embarrassed to sit here. Now, I thought when I saw that, it was Erik ten Hag. But no, he said, I'll be speaking on behalf of the team based on how they performed. I'm the manager. I've not had many teams who have played like that in my career.
See, this is the problem, though, isn't it?
A little bit of responsibility towards the end.
Because this is not the first time this season. They've Villa put 4 past them. Newcastle did as well. Obviously, they've been battered by Fulham and Arsenal as well. And when things don't go well for West Ham, they tend to go really, really badly. There's a sense that they sort of don't turn up. And the most damning thing about it is that David Moyes doesn't seem to be able to do anything about it, doesn't seem to understand why it's happened when it happens.
Yeah.
So then it just happens again.
Yeah.
It must be infuriating.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham, the only sides that have conceded more goals than them in the league this season are Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield United. I mean, it's astonishing. They've conceded 63. Now, yes, they're in 8th, of course, and on paper, blah, 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 decent season and so on. I don't want to, patronise West Ham fans and so on. But the amount of goals they conceded, it is quite startling. It really, really is. I mean, they've scored a fair few, to be fair to them, but still, you're right, Jim. They have been battered a number of times this season. 2
brilliant own goals in this game.
Oh, my goodness.
2 of the most fun own goals you'll see.
Yeah.
The Emerson one seems just a really silly, avoidable mix-up.
Yeah.
But the Tyrick Mitchell one.
Well, so some people are calling it a Mitchell own goal. Some are calling it a Henderson own goal. Mitchell shouldn't be, having any of the blame there.
Shouldn't be shooting from there.
Can we all just agree to disagree that David Moyes is a defensive manager?
He is a defensive manager.
And always has been. He's very proud of that fact.
But what do you think of Dean Henderson thinking, you know what, 3rd choice England goalkeeper, he's up for grabs?
I've not grabbed it.
That did not happen.
Play out the back with my feet.
That did not happen the way I thought it was going to.
Poor old Deanie. Poor old Deanie. One thing, again, now, this is perhaps a rare example of what's good for your club is actually... what's good for the Ramble is good for your club.
Yeah.
We want Elise, Eze and Mateta to be playing on the pitch more often because it's just so damn good when they do that.
Swashbuckling stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So we're with you, Palace.
Yeah.
You're a rare example.
Not Wednesday night, but
a moment for Adam Wharton as well was hit the ground running.
Oh, yeah.
Really, really good for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think the new manager at Palace, he's done all right.
He has.
He's done all right. I mean, obviously... took over in sort of difficult circumstances. I mean, they're now 11 points clear.
They're putting in the kind of performances that you sort of go, if they do something, get to a cup final or whatever, you do sort of think, well...
That is rare for Palace to...
Yeah, but if they do something that you would probably say was kind of overachieving, they will say that it was the previous manager who put the building blocks in. Or maybe the previous manager.
I don't think they'd... we go all the way back to Pards, do we? I don't think... I think
got to the final.
He did. And my goodness, nearly won it. But yeah, I think Palace, they want to be joining that sort of pack this season of sort of Bournemouth, Fulham, who solid mid-table. Like there's no danger going down. Of course, the
I can just hear the heart fluttering, can't I? Just hear the heart beating away. Whoa.
Yeah, I appreciate you lads. We've come this far in the show, and you haven't pointed out that my prediction of Fulham beating Liverpool was wrong. And thank you for your good grace.
Yeah, but Liverpool still didn't look that convincing.
They are, Peter.
There you go. All right.
So how many extra goals do Fulham get because of that then?
I think it's at least 2, Marcus. At least 2.
At least 2. Yeah, I'd still be wrong.
Was it you that Trent Alexander-Arnold was shushing in the crowd?
I don't sit up that end, but I would be flattered if it was, Jim. Yeah, that was an unnecessary celebration. Well, shushing people who are, let's be honest, are fairly quiet. Well, fairly,
We don't know what was said, do we?
We don't know what was said.
It's not quite a Vardy one.
It wasn't
you never
as bad
know. There might have been
as...
someone giving him some stick. I always try and think because it always looks unnecessary, doesn't it, when a player does that? But you have to remember that there are grown men shouting at them the whole time as well.
Yeah, no, Fetler, I've no problem. But I mean, it wasn't as bad as Lopez's goal for Barcelona at the Bernabeu, where he leaps over the advertising hoardings to stand in front of the whole of the Real Madrid fans. I was watching the highlights, going, what are you doing, you fool?
And he had a stiffy.
And he did.
He didn't.
Or Jude Bellingham might have done with that winning goal. Fair play to him, doing a lovely little hoedown celebration. But fair play to Trent. I had a lovely view of it. As soon as it left his boot, I was like, oh.
That stayed hit, hasn't it?
Yeah. Mind you, Fulham get themselves back in the game.
Welcome back.
You never know. And then a bad pass. And again, though, it's like, Gravenberch's just... Yeah, that is quality. That's what you pay for.
So were you sat next to José Mourinho or not?
Do you know what? I was sat... Yeah, I don't sit that far from Mourinho. I looked up and I was like, bloody José Mourinho.
Bloody José Mourinho.
There's always someone in there, isn't there? The last time I went with you, Brian Cox was there.
And Mick Jagger.
We did Logan Roy. Not
Space,
the other one.
The scientist man.
Space Cox. Ground Cox, not Space Cox.
Not Space Cox.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, what I loved is I clocked Mourinho was in there.
Right.
And at half-time, when the players went off down the tunnel, everyone in the Cottage Pavilion goes in for some quite fantastic half-time food, as I may say, having experienced it myself. Other than Mourinho, he just sat out there. He was the only one left, and he was just staring into space. And I was like, He wants to be seen.
Yeah.
Like he just does.
Hell of a presence.
Oh, my
just,
goodness. Left 15 minutes before the final whistle. I thought, oh, you don't want to be caught in the traffic at the end of it, though, do you?
Too easy to go to Fulham, isn't it? That's why you get all these celebrities at Fulham.
Yeah, there's a
It's
few.
in the same with
come on, there'd be more at like Arsenal and Chelsea and
you know, like
Man United.
Hartlepool United always do the last away game of the season. They always go down en masse and they dress up and
Tons
stuff.
of celebrities at Hartlepool United.
Well, Jeff Stelling did dressed up as one of the Blues Brothers for the whole thing.
Yeah, there's one.
They're one famous fan.
Wow,
what a celebrity draw they are.
And yeah, but it was at Dorking. Do you know what I mean? So it's like
near mine, I think it was.
Exactly. So it's easy to get to, isn't it?
Yeah,
in Hartlepool.
Indeed, it is. It really is. Yeah. So Mourinho. I mean, I know that Liverpool are looking for a new manager.
That wouldn't be good.
Has he just gone to start that rumour? Because he's been doing that, hasn't he? He's popping up in Barcelona and anywhere where it's really unuseful for him to be, he suddenly appears.
Like
the least helpful, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a landlord inspecting mould. Oh. Maldino's here.
Someone summoned Mourinho. Who did it? And there he is.
Who did the incantation?
Oh, dearie me. Look, Fulham don't need him. Okay. I'm enjoying the football at Fulham.
Right.
He knows the area.
He knows the area.
He knows the club.
He does, yeah. He probably lives in the area as well. Oh, anyway, thank you very much for listening to the Football Ramble, part of the Acast Creator Network. Join us on Wednesday for more Ramble goodness, and for crying out loud. FootballRambleLive.com is the place to get your tickets on Friday.
It's the biggest ever show we've ever done.
Ever. But of course, if you can't wait, join the Ramble Patreon to get them on Wednesday.
Has Pete got a gun licence? Well, we'll find out, won't we?
This is news to us as well, so I guess we will.
I'm going to do some...
Jim was, as I was as well, genuinely panicked.
I'm going to shoot a crossbow through an apple off Jim's head.
What is it?
It's going to be spectacular.
Is there a bylaw in the London Palladium if you do that?
Yes,
and you shoot
exactly,
a Scotsman with a crow?
It's like you can smoke on stage. I'm going to be smoking so many cigarettes. It's going to be brilliant.
Yes. Cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yes, Patreon. Get involved. Follow us on X, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Football Ramble, and do follow us on Spotify as well. Thank you, Jim Campbell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete Donaldson.
FootballRambleLive.com.
Yeah, and thank you, FootballRambleLive.com. See you soon.
Cheers for watching another fantastic clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to the channel, which means you will not miss a single upload.